Hello guys, S2W here as your average consumer again. This shoe was launched right on the same day as the Adidas Iniki Runner, and I felt it was shadowed by them and it flew under the radar because of it. This is another Adidas sneaker that Adidas placed full-length Boost on it, but not just on any sneaker. It's a sneaker with an iconic history and it's still popular in the modern day. This is the Adidas Stan Smith Boost that I have here for a review. Horst Dassler, the son of founder of Adidas, was the person who first envisioned this shoe. This sneaker was first introduced in the early 1960s, built as the first tennis shoe with a leather upper. The first person who endorsed this model was a professional French tennis player, Robert Haylett. After he retired, Adidas found the next person to continue the shoe's legacy, and that is Stan Smith, former world #1 American tennis player. To this day, this model hasn't changed much differently in terms of its outer design. Maybe some slight visual changes, but at the end of the day, this shoe has transitioned well into a clean daily lifestyle sneaker. And now finally, Adidas implemented the next lineup of Stan Smiths with their top of the line Boost cushioning technology. Taking a closer look at these sneakers, the Adidas Stan Smith Boost look almost exactly the same as the recent Stan Smiths that are out in many retail stores. This particular OG colorway continues to don the white smooth leather upper for its construction. The leather on this is soft and flexible, but in truth, it feels almost exactly the same as the original Stan Smiths without the boost. The leather here does not yield as easily as the leather on the new Adidas Superstar Boost that I've reviewed, but it's still decent material. On the lateral side, we have some perforated holes in the 3 diagonal row configuration. It's Adidas' way of low-key branding by symbolizing their iconic 3 ordinary stripes. While on the medial side, it's basically the identical mirror version of the lateral side, with the same punched ventilation holes for better breathability for our feet. One thing different here though, is that the Boost is concaving inwards near the midfoot area. At the toe box, nothing much is here but the same leather material of the shoe. It looks really smooth here right now, but with wear, it will start creasing, and to some, it destroys the clean look of this shoe. But regardless, in my opinion, a new or beat up, but clean of course, pair of OG Stan Smiths will always look great no matter what. Moving up the sneakers, the tongue is made out of a 2-piece leather, where the part that we see on the outside overlaps the smaller piece of leather resting on our ankles on the inside. This thin tongue design goes way back to its original roots of the first Adidas Stan Smiths, whereas on the new Stan Smith 2, the tongue there is more plush and thick. This tongue also sports the iconic Adidas trefoil logo with Stan Smith's portrait and his signature in green, which was created and introduced since the early 1980s. This tongue illustration has changed a few times before what we actually see here, but in the end, this design prevailed. Furthermore, the laces that came with these Adidas Stan Smith Boosts were flat white laces, just like any other regular Stan Smiths. At the back of the shoe, we have the classic green foam padding with the Adidas trefoil logo and the name Stan Smith in white for the extra branding on the heel panel. Surprisingly, this green part of the upper is made out of a material closely resembling to felt, whereas on the regular Stan Smiths, it's just a piece of the same leather as its upper. Inside the shoe, we have some premium leather lining that feels comparatively softer than the leather on the outside. This part of the shoe is the most heavily padded area, most likely designed initially to offer Achilles tendon protection for tennis players who actually wore these shoes to play in. Much like the previous Stan Smiths, the insoles are non-removable, but for this version, they use the familiar felt-like fabric laying on top of the Boost midsole, much like how all the NMDs are given to us. Whereas on the regular version, it's a flat layer of sock liner much like the Iniki runners that I've reviewed. And now the finale, the midsole of the sneaker. Adidas added their latest cushioning technology, Boost material, to this iconic silhouette. For those who don't know, Boost material is a very responsive cushion that allows energy to be returned back as we step off the ground. It's famous for its bouncy properties, much like the feeling of walking on clouds. They use Boost cushioning to create the full-length Boost midsole that essentially spills out more than the physical width of the leather upper. So we are actually stepping inside the Boost, so to speak. But overall, the amount of boost here looked almost exactly the same as the height of the original rubber cupsole on previous Stan Smiths, but width-wise, they spill out of the shoe a bit more wider than the rubber cupsole on the OG versions. Flipping over the shoe, we see the familiar Stan Smith outsole for whatever extra traction it'll give us from the multiple round and uneven rubber nubs. And something interesting to note here is that in between these nubs, they created little round boost windows, so the boost material can expand and contract for better compression results. At the center of this outsole, you will see the word Adidas and the trefoil logo to end off the minimal branding on this shoe. Anyways, here are some Adidas Stan Smith Boost fit footages. Fit-wise, I went true to size, the same size as the original Stan Smith that I used to wear, and these fit me nicely. They do fit more tightly as the shoe is narrow, but the narrow part is evenly spread out over the shoe rather than at a specific area, so your feet will get accustomed to the fit pretty quickly. Comfort-wise, the Boost cushioning feels very even throughout the shoe. Compression-wise, I personally feel that these are more squishy than the NMD-R1s. When compared to Iniki runners or the NMD-R2s, I feel like these Stan Smith Boosts are more bouncy at the forefoot than the two I've just mentioned, while less squishy on the back than those two. It's an interesting feel because if you talk about the different versions of the Stan Smiths, the Boost midsole is definitely more comfortable than the regular Stan Smith's tough midsole. If I had both, I would just pick this new Boost version because of the comfort it brings when you simply walk around. Price wise, these were at $160 Canadian before tax, at the same price of the Adidas Iniki runner that dropped on the same day. In my review video of the Inikis, I said those were the cheapest shoe here in Canada with full-length Boost technology in my recent memory, but these are competing with them at the same pricing. However, these Stan Smith Boosts did not sell out at all, as there's still stuff from Adidas Canada online as we speak. I just think these flew under the radar when everyone was busy picking up the new Iniki runners, but then again, the Inikis were a totally new silhouette, whereas these Stan Smith Boost is literally just like its name, only adding Boost technology onto the shoe. Is changing its design by adding Boost enough for the silhouette to be sold millions and millions again like the OG Stan Smiths? I don't know about that. I feel like the people who love the original design already have an OG pair and might feel the Boost edition is just not enough to get a second pair, and the people who are new to this technology will most likely choose better or other streamlined looking models than these. Although these still offered a clean and simple design like it always have, I feel like this silhouette to many is still only a second option if people have not bought what they want yet. As always, let me know in the comments if you will cop a pair of these Adidas Stan Smith Boost after this review. They are a nice clean sneaker for basically every season and months that you can match with many different outfits as well. So if you don't have the originals yet, think about getting this one, as it offers a cushioning comfort way better than the past versions. That's it for today. S2W signing off.